Red alert, I repeat, red alert, it's ranked tier list time, motherfucker.
What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new ranked tier list video where we're going to be ranking every single agent, and we're going to be talking about the changes and how that has affected every single agent. So if you want to know what agents are the best in the current ranked meta or absolute trash, definitely watch it at the end of the video. But do yourself a favor and go check out our Nuclear Winter Special 50% off sale in the GameLeap website. 50% freaking off right now. Check out the links down below and pay up, or Nuclear Winter. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now we gotta kick it off with the S tier. Characters that are gonna be the best of the best, and characters that you should at least know how to play against or play yourself if you want to succeed in ranked as a whole. Now the number one character in the game right now is none other than Jett. For ranked in particular, Jett has always fought Reyna for that number one spot, but with the really big Reyna nerfs recently and the notable Marshall buff, Jett is in a better position to abuse that than anyone else, and Jett is already just one of the best characters in the game. So now after the dust settles, Jett has cemented herself as the number one character in the game for specifically ranked, being able to hard carry with ops, being able to use a lot of different types of weapons like Marshall, shotguns, the list goes on, but Jett is one of those characters that you can expect to see on either one or both teams in every single game. Now, there are two other characters that we have in the S tier, Sova and Raze, and both of these characters are freaking insane, and their pick rate reflects that, and that's not about to change. In fact, their pick rate might even go up with a lot of these changes. Now, specifically, the one caveat to these two characters is split. Sova sees a very little amount of play on split, and Raze sees almost maxed out play on split, but for the rest of the maps, they both see substantial amount of play. But ultimately, these are characters that play on a fundamentally different axis than a lot of other characters. Raze has really good sight control, and she can take space very, very easily. She can contest a lot of areas that most characters can't, like mid on split, and Sova allows for very clean executes with other duelists, and he's one of the best enablers for the really powerful duelist meta that we're in and we have been in for a long time. Now, either of these characters are going to be amazing options for playing in ranked, period, but if you're not playing one of these two characters, you need to learn a lot of the default setups for these characters, like common recon arrows, common double shock dart plays, Raze rollouts, and the like, because you are going to be going up against these characters consistently in your game, so even if you're not playing them, you should at the very least know how to play against them. Now, let's move on to the A tier, characters that are very, very insane, but they don't quite reach that S tier status because there's some scenarios where there are other better options. Now, in the A tier, we have three characters: Omen, Killjoy, and Brimstone. Let's first talk about the controllers, because these characters are both really good. Omen's very good, Brimstone's very good. I think that Riot has balanced them very well together, and their pick rate reflects that. In Radiant, they see almost identical pick rate, both substantial, but almost identical. Now, there isn't one right answer as far as which controller you should play. As long as you're picking between Omen and Brimstone, you're gonna be fine, and it's really up to personal preference at that point. But Killjoy cements herself as the number one sentinel in the game right now, and Killjoy has kind of overtaken the pick rate of Cypher for a number of reasons, but basically Killjoy is incredibly powerful, not only in that pistol round, but retaking points altogether. She's incredibly useful in a lot of different ways. On defense, she can completely shut down a rush push, and on attack, she can use her turret aggressively to peek angles, peek uppers. I mean, the list goes on, not to mention that retake ability with her ultimate. It all comes together in a really pretty package where if you want to play a character where you need the least amount of aim, but you get the most amount of results, Killjoy is the number one character that you should be picking up, and you need to know how to play against a Killjoy. If you're playing any character in the game, doesn't matter. Learning your matchups and how you are going to be playing against Killjoy, utility, how she's holding, where her turrets are, this is all stuff that's very important for you to understand, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Then moving on to the B tier, these are characters that are very good, but they don't always see play. They're role fillers, but they are also extremely powerful in the right hands. Now, the top is actually Sage, and Sage has a really high win rate and pick rate, even all the way up into Radiant. Now, it seems that every tier list that comes by, Sage is actually picking up more and more pick rate, and I think that people are coming really wise to the fact that Sage is an amazing character. Between slows and rolls and res and heal, she has such an amazing kit for not only stopping rushes, which is really powerful, she can hold areas that most characters could never hope to contest, like mid on split, and she has the ability to make proactive lurks, heal her team, has the most powerful ultimate in the game. Basically, a good Sage is a character that can always benefit a team, and she's an amazing pick right now, especially for those of you who don't quite want to play duelist, but you do have some flexibility in making plays, then Sage might be the perfect pick for you. Now, next up in the B tier, we actually have Reyna, and Reyna just got a huge nerf. She got a lot of nerfs and some buffs, and if you want to know more about that, definitely go check out our other news video. But basically, the big changes to Reyna and the big things that are going to affect her are the fact that she only gets 2 devour or dismisses now, and they're more expensive. Even though she gets the soul orb now, if she doesn't get the final blow, as long as she dealt damage within the last 3 seconds before their death, which is nice, but Reyna overall is going to be quite a bit weaker. And Reyna was also the #1 character that was being abused in the Frenzy meta, where Reyna would just buy multiple sucks, a flash, and the Frenzy, and if she got that first kill, she's just freaking unstoppable. No longer the case. Gonna be a lot harder for her to actually just have super high impact on pistol round. It's gonna be a lot harder for her to just terrorize ranked. Yes, she's still gonna be amazingly powerful. Yes, she could still abuse a lot of what she could before with those first initial kills, but she isn't gonna be that 1v5 wrecking ball that feels like she's unstoppable in the hands of a Smurf or anything like that. While she is a character that you still need to keep your eye on, and she's still very good, you Reyna mains will still be able to play her just fine. She is not gonna be the dominant apex predator, the top of the S tier anymore, and I think for most of us, we are actually happy about that. Now moving on to the next character in the B tier, we have Cypher. Still a great character, fantastic. However, Cypher has a few problems. One of the biggest ones is the fact that both Raze and Jet are at the top of the S tier. You gotta think about Cypher's utility and how easy it is to be dealt with when you have the utility or the blast packs that Raze has, and you have the dashes that can dash through trip like Jet. A lot of times, a Cypher will be holed up somewhere using one trip to stop a Jet, and she'll just ignore it by dashing through, and that is actually a legitimate counter, not to mention the fact that the paint shells and the blast pack from Raze and even Sova, there's a lot of characters that are really good right now that actually put a lot of pressure on Cypher utility. While Cypher could still be amazing in the right hands, he's still a fantastic character. He is going to be a lot weaker than he would be in a much slower based meta, and right now that's just not it. So Cypher is taking a rest in B tier currently, but out of nowhere, the meta changes, he could be back up to A or even S tier. Now, the last character in B tier is actually Phoenix. Phoenix is still really good. He's still going to be a role filler, and I imagine he sees a lot more pick rate now that Reyna is a little bit weaker. That being said, he doesn't bring the unique aspect that Raze does, and he doesn't have the get out of jail free cards that Jet and Reyna do. Overall, he's a very good character for those of you who really like aggressively entering and taking site control, and he does have a lot of tools that can help you supplement just the randomness of ranked. You need an LOS block, you got it. You need some AoE, you got it. You need some sustain and heal, you got it. You got all these different things, and for those reasons, Phoenix is an amazing ranked character, but he might not be quite as dominant as a really amazing Raze or Jet main would be in the exact same spot. Then we go to the C tier. These are characters that are not quite good enough to see substantial ranked play, or they're characters that rely far more on coordination, and it's really hard to get the level of coordination required in, of course, ranked. So we have at the top Skye and Breach, and I know what you're gonna say, what the heck, Breach is so strong, Skye is so strong, and I know these characters can be amazing, and in the right hands or in like a coordinated 3-stack, these characters could be A tier, maybe even S tier at some points. They're just really great. However, if you're talking about ranked solo queue, right, Breach is very hard to set up, Skye is very hard to set up correctly, and most of the time you're gonna have to be flashing the enemy and then doing the job yourself by swinging on them, and it's just very hard to pull off, and you would just be having more impact If you could set all that up yourself, you would have more impact on a character like Phoenix or Reyna or any other duelist instead of some of these initiators. It's just really difficult to set this up in ranked play, and if you're just trying to set people up, Sova is going to be better for you to pick than Skye or Breach. While these characters have very powerful kits, it's just very hard as far as ranked is concerned, and the pick rate reflects that. If you just go look at the pick rate, you'll see that these characters have very low pick and win rate in ranked, even all the way up to Radiant. But personally, I'm okay with that. I don't think these characters need to be amazingly meta in ranked, and if they buffed them so much to the point that they were super good in ranked, even though their characters designed for coordinated play, then they would just be completely absurd in coordinated play. So I think that this is fine. And then at the bottom of the C tier, we actually have Yoru, who's a character that can be good in the right hands, but the thing is, the buffs that we got in this patch don't really address the problems of Yoru. One of the biggest problems is the sound of his ability. Extremely loud, very easy to play around. Yoru's flash has to be the absolute worst in the game. You have to work very hard to use his ability, his teleport correctly in a way that's going to get you value. More than likely, it's just going to be a get out ability, which is inferior to Jett's dash and Reyna's dismiss. And Yoru overall is going to be a character that I could see some specialists forming, but realistically, there are a lot better options that you could pick. But they have talked about more buffs down the pipeline. They acknowledged it in this patch that Yoru is not quite done yet as far as buffs are concerned. So expect some buffs down the corner for all you Yoru mains. And then the last tier that we're going to talk about is not the F tier. No, we're talking about the triple S tier, the best of the best, and it's Viper, because she's the only damn MILF in the game. No, all joking aside, I'm sorry, you Viper fans. I know I talk Viper blasphemy in all of my videos recently, all the ranked tier list videos, but basically I'm just pushing this point over and over again because we need buffs for the character. I think you could agree, I agree, everyone agrees, even Riot themselves have said that she needs buffs, but we haven't seen them. Where are they at, Riot? I need to see those Viper buffs already, and I'm not gonna harp on it too much because Viper is not powerful enough to fill that Sentinel role or justify picking her over another Sentinel, and she absolutely can't fit the role of a primary controller in her current state. So for those reasons, she just fails as far as we need her in the meta, and unfortunately she's in F tier, but she does have a special place in my heart. Go to the GameLeap website though, in the links down below, because right now we got a special 50% off sale. 50 freaking percent. So if you want to dominate this patch, do yourself a favor, go check it out right now and don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for coming by. That's all I got for you today. I'm Coach Mills, and of course, until next time,